to be working the Jingle Bell stocking up the first few rounds in this color. I will be making it in this lighter color that you'll see in images, but since this is hard to see on camera, I'm going to be showing you how to work these stitches with this color. We have 48 stitches in the round, and we are going to be doing a 6-stitch repeat, and it is a 5-round repeat. I will show you the setup round and then rounds 2 through 5. And then when I want to come back and work the round 1 again for the repeats, I want to show you that as well. So for our first setup round 1, we're going to start by chaining 1 and then doing a split single crochet into that very first stitch. And we will want to mark that chain space as the first stitch in our round. Then we are going to skip the next stitch and split single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. And that will be our repeat around for the setup round 1. So I want to show you that one more time. We will chain 1 and split single crochet into the next stitch. Then we will skip the next and split single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. And we'll repeat that all the way around. And our stitch count for the stocking will not change. Now for round 2, we will start by removing our stitch marker. We're going to chain 1 and then single crochet into the chain space from that previous round. Then we will mark the very first chain stitch of this round. And then next we are going to do a bobble into this split single crochet. Now I'm not doing a lot of yarn overs for this because I don't want a really thick bobble, but here's how we will work it into the V of this next stitch. So we will yarn over, insert our hook into the center of that V, and notice I grab and hold my yarn here so it doesn't slide off anywhere. Yarn over and pull up a loop, and then we are going to yarn over again and insert right back into the center of that stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop, and now we have 5 loops on the hook, and we will yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. I like to do these this way. It doesn't change your stitch count, I promise. We're going to finish it off by yarning over and pulling through the last 2. I really just feel like it helps these bobbles be a bit more where they need to be by doing that extra step. Instead of yarning over and pulling through 5, I find it better to pull through 4 and then yarn over and pull through 2. And that's how we're going to be working the bobble stitches for this pattern. Then we will skip the next stitch and split single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Now our bobble stitch is very subtle, but I do find it adds some texture to this pattern that I really enjoy. If you like the stitch pattern, I have a similar one that I did for the Journey Under the Seas bag, and we'll also be using it without a bobble for the hat. Now we will chain 1 and do a single crochet into the chain 1 space from the round below, and then bobble into the next stitch. And then skip 1 and split single crochet into each of the next 3. And that is our repeat around for round 2. Now for round 3, we'll move our stitch marker and then chain 1 and single crochet in the chain space from the round below. Then we'll want to go ahead and place our stitch marker back into that chain space, marking the first stitch of this round. Then we will split single crochet into that next stitch, do a bobble into the next. So our bobbles, for when we do work our bobbles, they'll only be worked for 3 of the rounds, but when we do work them, they'll be worked into the next one right below. Then we will skip the next stitch and split single crochet into the next. And you can kind of push your bobbles forward a bit. Sometimes they tend to be pushed to the back, but if you just pop them out forward, they'll have a bit more texture. So I want to show you that repeat for round 3 one more time. We will chain 1 and single crochet into that chain space. then split single crochet into the next stitch, do a bobble into the next, skip the next stitch, and split single crochet 2. And that's our repeat around for round 3. And now for round 4, we will move our stitch marker and chain 1 and single crochet in the chain 1 space from the round below and place our stitch marker back into that chain 1 space. Then we will split single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. Then do a bobble, skip 1, and split single crochet into the next. And that's our repeat for round 4. So let me show you that one more time. We will chain 1 and single crochet into the chain space from the round below. Then we will split single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, bobble in the next, skip the next stitch, and split single crochet. That is our repeat around for round 4. And now for round 5 of this repeat, we will remove our stitch marker, chain 1, single crochet into the chain space from the round below, and then place our stitch marker back into that chain 1 space for the first stitch of the round. Then we are going to split single crochet into the next 4 stitches. Now I know that you can't really split single crochet into a bobble, so we're just going to work a single crochet stitch there, and then we're going to skip the next stitch, and that's our repeat. So we will chain 1, single crochet in the chain 1 space from the round below, and split single crochet into the next 4 stitches. And that's our repeat around for round 5. Don't forget you're skipping that last stitch there and working right over into that chain space when you're starting over with that stitch repeat. So work that all the way around and then come back, and I want to show you how to work the round 1 when we're doing it after a round 5. Now working round 1 for the repeats after we've worked round 5. We'll move the stitch marker and chain 1 and single crochet in the chain space from the round below, placing our stitch marker back into that chain 1 space. Then we will skip the next stitch and split single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. So let me show you that one more time. We will chain 1, split single crochet into the chain space, skip the next stitch, and split single crochet into the next 4 stitches. And that is round 1 after doing those repeats, and then we will continue to repeat rounds 1 through 5 until we have 19 total rounds, and that will end on a round 4 repeat. And then when we work our round 5 again for round 20, we'll be chaining for the heel. Now for the Jingle Bell stocking, I have worked rounds 6 through 15 and then 16 through 19. So we are ready to do a round 5 of our repeat again, but for this round we're going to go ahead and split for the heel, which you can kind of see here. This is what we're after. We're going to be placing some chain stitches and creating a space for the heel for later. So to do this, we will start by chaining 24. Now we can go ahead and place our stitch marker in that first chain of the round as the first stitch in the round. And then we've got our chains, and then we're going to be skipping 24 stitches, and the remaining stitches we are going to be working as our round 5, which means we just need to add one more chain because that's the first stitch that we'll be using for round 5. And then we are going to single crochet into that chain 1 space, split single crochet the next 3 stitches, single crochet in the top of this bobble stitch, and then we're going to skip the next stitch chain one, and continue to work this round in that round 5 repeats. Now that we have worked round 20, which then we will go right into, now that we have worked round 20 of the stocking, which is a repeat of round 5 for the parts where we weren't chaining, it's time for us to go back to our established round repeat of round 1, and this will be round 21 of the stocking. So I'm going to go ahead and move my stitch marker, and for the first 24 stitches in this round, we are simply going to be single crocheting into each of the chain stitches. I'm marking this first stitch of this round. But for the very first stitches here, we're just going to single crochet 24 into those chains, and then we're going to go into our round 1 repeat once we get done with these stitches. Now remember, we have a chain space here, so you're only single crocheting into the first 24 stitches, and now we're going to go right into our round 1 repeat, where we are going to chain 1, single crochet into that chain 1 space, which is kind of on the edge of the opening of the stocking here. And then we are going to skip the next stitch and split single crochet into the next 4 stitches. And then we will repeat that until we get to the end of the round. So this is just doing round 1 of our established repeat for the remaining stitches. Now we are ready to start round 22, which is a repeat of round 2. When it comes to that established repeat, we'll be doing it a little bit differently across the chain stitches, and then once we get to this section, it'll line up just as round 2 should. So we're going to start by moving our stitch marker and doing a chain 1 and then a split single crochet for 1. Go ahead and place that stitch marker in that very first chain stitch to mark the beginning of the round. Then we are going to do a bobble into the next. And then we are going to skip the next stitch and split single crochet 3. So we're working this across 6 stitches. We'll be doing that step 4 times. So that's a chain 1, split single crochet into the next, bobble into the next stitch, then we will skip the next stitch and split single crochet 3. We'll do that for 4 times, and then we'll get to the rest of the stocking round where it's just worked as round 2 as we have been doing before. So now we've worked all of our stitches across the chain. We're ready to finish working the round across these main body stitches, and the nice thing is we are right back into that established repeat, and we can work that right across the rest of these stitches in this round. Now after this round, then we'll continue to work the remaining rounds and working in that established round repeat for the rest of the leg. So now we'll just be working the body part of this leg, and then we'll be working on the cuff after that, and then we'll come back and work the heel. Now for the leg portion of this, after we've done this heel section, which we will end up getting back on track after round 25. So after working round 22, 23, 24, and 25 are just repeats of rounds 3 through 5. And then round 26 through 50, when you get to 50 rounds, that's where we've reached the height of the leg, just repeating rounds 1 through 5 again and again. Now, if you want it taller or shorter, you can feel free to adjust if necessary, but I've stopped at 50 rounds, and now I'm ready to do the top cuff, and after that, we'll come back and do the heel.